All right, y'all, let's jump straight into this. No warm-up needed. Joe was on pure foolishness from the second the cameras flipped on. He literally changed clothes on some real rich Jay-Z level timing, shoes included. And trust me, he made sure everybody saw those sneakers he's been chasing all year. Hold up, while we're talking outfits, he was really on ice and ish for both rocking gray sweatsuits. Bruh, I didn't even notice at first, like I really didn't. But what I did notice was Mona popping up on the Patreon. I'm assuming she had other obligations to handle. She's booked and busy, and honestly, good for her. But then Mark stood up, came back to his seat, and said this, and that's where things shifted.
Okay, that was Mona. Yeah.
It reminded me for a quick second of that moment back in August when he texted Mel on the side, or responded to her rather, the day she walked off set. I know, jog your memory, that was a minute ago. And again, it might be nothing at all. People are allowed to have obligations, so I'm not mad at that. While we're on Mark, he actually asked me about the new female co-host for All Eyes on E. If you've been keeping up with Imani, you know he recently put out that he's looking for a female co-host. I think that's fire. It gives him someone else to bounce ideas off of and brings a different perspective into the mix. People were curious about who the woman might be, but honestly, I think it was smart for him to keep that close and break the news on his own platform. It also reminded me of that time over the summer when they wanted him to share his story on the pod, but he tried to save it for his Patreon while everything was still in motion. That was when he was soft launching Patreon and doing the behind-the-scenes work, and Flip basically tried to pull the info out of him after he already said he didn't want to share it yet. Hold up. So let me ask y'all, who do you think would be a good fit as the new female co-host for All Eyes on E? Drop your picks. Now, even though this Patreon episode had a lot of fun moments, it did slide into a serious conversation too. They got into formal education, hustler mentality, and entrepreneurship. Joe was genuinely surprised that Mark didn't see himself as an entrepreneur, and they really sat on that topic for a bit. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good conversation. But while I was watching, my mind immediately went back to that Patreon episode called Team Players. Some of y'all might remember me saying that right before Flip and Jaywan arrived that day, the day of the Mark and Flip viral moment, they were actually having some really solid conversations. Joe was off to the side for those talks, so he didn't hear that side of Mark. If I remember correctly, Joe was on the phone with Flip because Flip had been told to sit out the main pod, but come in for the Patreon, and Flip was running late because he was driving from Baltimore. I believe this was October. Don't quote me, a lot has happened since then, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
During that time, Mark was holding down the A mic, and they were having genuine life conversations. Mark talked about being content, getting to a place where he didn't have to do so much, and feeling responsible for the people he loves. He has people depending on him. He's the one with the plane and the resources. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the energy. I really suggest y'all go back and watch that episode before the fight, because the conversation itself was top tier. And all of this is to say, I actually understand where Mark is coming from. You can't be a full-on rebel when you're thinking about keeping everyone around you secure and okay, especially family. The risk is just too high. That kind of responsibility can be scary, especially when you're the one holding most of the resources. During that Team Players episode, I felt for Mark. And I know some people will hear this and say, Alina, they're up. They have more than the average person. And sure, but at the end of the day, there's still regular people behind the scenes. Everyone can't be the boss or nothing would ever get done. Now, granted, Mark technically is an entrepreneur, but I understood his mindset. When the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you can't afford to flip a coin and hope it lands right. The risk is just too big. They said something that I think a lot of people relate to. Not everyone wants to be a boss. Some folks are perfectly fine being comfortable, paying their bills, and having peace instead of pouring all their time and energy into chasing unlimited money. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty spot on. Everybody in that convo made valid points. I really love those types of discussions because a lot of us are either there already or on the way. Seriously, go back and watch that Team Players episode before the fight. The topics were flowing. It was Mark, Mona, Imani, Parks, Ice, and Ish all sharing perspectives, and it felt natural. Overall, this was a strong pod. We got the jokes and the serious moments. One minute, Joe's clowning the Newark boys in gray sweats. The next minute, they're breaking down entrepreneurship and responsibility. And I just said the other day that Joe and Ish argue like cats and dogs until they're 80 years old in Velcro-strapped sneakers. And sure enough, they had a moment during story time. Real blast from the past energy. Hot take though, Ish can never leave this show. Ish cannot leave. Ish, don't you ever fix your legs and try to walk off this PD. He's essential. That's just my opinion. Don't tussle with me. We're all allowed to have those. As always, drop your key takeaways in the comments if you're feeling the content. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, y'all. Bye.